All right, welcome to the BFR podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name's Dave. You can follow me on Twitter at Dave_BFR. We are going to recap the Bears, but I'm joined by my co-host Ficky. You can follow him on all socials at It's Ficky Baby. And again, presented by Sports Mockery. You can check out all my work, sportsmockery.com. It's a tough one. We had 1 week of, where it was kind of a high. We got a win, first time in almost a year, and now we are right back to the dumpster fire almost. So before we hop into it, Ficky, man, you traveled, you went to the game. How you feeling? Have you recovered mentally, physically?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't like a blowout. Like there were exciting parts of the game. So there was times because I was with my mom and my sister and family, and we were screaming at times, like excitement and whatnot. And we'll talk about the full game in total, but we had a chance to come back and tie it at the end. So honestly, mentally, I'm used to the losing. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. We're just back where we're at. But my voice is actually more gone than what I expected to be, because I was definitely yelling in that stadium, and the energy was high. Not like the third quarter, it was dead as hell because we thought there was not a chance. But once we had a chance to actually march down the field and win it, that place was back loud again. So first half was pretty loud. Went down to third, and in the fourth, it was electric until obviously Tyson threw that game sealing pick. So and then obviously it was Dick Butkus, the first honor, the honoring Dick Butkus. So it was Dick Butkus Day. Everyone had their Dick Butkus stuff out, and the moment of silence and things like that. And the place was going crazy. And then also Hester was there. So, people love, every person we've interviewed,
that's why
their favorite players
taking everything out.
Bro, just taking it, just like Hester mode. To be fair, he did on his second one that he almost, other than the penalty, that man, couple. Yeah. So, but yeah, overall, the game was, obviously the result is not what any of us wanted, but for an in-person experience, it was pretty fun compared to some of the other losses I've gone to. The bar's low, but yeah.
Overall, I went to the Chiefs game. You went to week one. That's still probably the best game one of us have been to this year.
Absolutely.
Probably.
No
even
question,
given all the, uncertainty with Fields going out and everything.
I want to expectation going in.
Yeah, and we're going to get to we're going to get to Justin Fields. We're going to get to a couple things here that are prominent just with the Bears right now. I want to talk more about just the atmosphere. Since you were at the game, I want to get your feel on it. First of all, let's fast forward to Justin Fields going down. After that all happened, transpired, what was the atmosphere like? Was it quiet? Were there chants for Bagent? How were you feeling, your family, friends, everything like that?
Yeah, obviously you see injury, you're not happy about it. Even when Nate Davis went down, honestly, because the Fields one, you couldn't tell right away. It wasn't like he was laying on the ground forever or anything like that. And I think it was third down, right? So I think it happened on third down, and they just let him out. Oh, Dave, we have a special guest. Look, your son's at the door.
Hold on.
No, it's all good. You can handle that. I'll answer this.
All right.
I'll answer this. For our podcast listeners, first off, thank you for listening. But Dave's son just slowly opened up the door, almost like a Halloween movie, just in time for October, and it got to look kind of scary. But to answer Dave's question, I think the injury was on third down, right? That's why Fields was trying to get it out instead of taking a sack, I believe. And so you couldn't really tell from the get-go if it was an injury. It wasn't like the Nate Davis injury where he got injured right away. And then obviously you're laying on the field. So with the Nate Davis injury, I knew it was Nate Davis. So I was kind of damn, this sucks, because he's been balling out, going crazy. And actually, I think I saw a tweet about it here about the Nate Davis before he went out. Let's see if I can find that tweet.
Hey, Vic, I'm back. We're all good. You just want to talk Bears, man. And I was like, not right now.
I don't blame him.
Right now.
I don't. He wouldn't if he saw the game. How about that? Have him watch the all 22.
Oh, man.
And he wouldn't want to watch that. But I'm speaking about the Nate Davis injury first, because that one had more of an impact, because like I said, the Fields one, I think he just went off to the side. He wasn't laying on the field. But with Nate Davis, I saw it right away. And I think they took a TV timeout, and he'd been balling out before he went down, right? So from Brad Spielberger from PFF, he said Nate Davis so far, when he's been playing, 75.9 pass block grade, which is 10th amongst guards, and he's only allowed 2 QB pressures allowed on 80 pass blocking snaps. So he's been balling out. And that's kind of what we expected. So that one I think hurt me more in the essence of like in the moment. I had to literally go on Twitter to figure out why Fields wasn't coming back in. So it wasn't like, it was more of like, yo, what is, like, I'm finding out kind of in the same way everyone else is. You know, obviously maybe on the TV broadcast that you watch, they probably talked about it more. But when you're in the stadium, you have no idea. You just see he goes off to the side. I couldn't even see him go into the tent from my angle, the red zone. I mean, the end zone I was in. So it wasn't like as impactful until I saw that, you know, like he was going to the locker room. And then it's like, okay, you know, once Tyson came in, I'll say this. Once Tyson came in, people still had some energy because they, you know, it's like, oh, the new guy. You have some people that are, you know, more on the side of Bagent anyways. So,
yeah.
And, you know, we have the Bagent fans. So it wasn't like there were boos or anything like that. But that energy easily depleted when he got that, when he fumbled the ball for a touchdown. That's where it went like immediately quiet. And the first round of boos started coming out. So I know that was a long one.
That was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
No, I appreciate, because you're there, you're with everyone, the fans. It was obviously just a weird atmosphere, you know, up and down. Because even after that fumble, there was some momentum probably, right? Can you talk about after the fumble and kind of had that touchdown drive? What's that? Because it seemed very loud from the broadcast.
The loudness was actually on the defense, and they played well. Third downs, like people going crazy. Obviously, you had the interception by Tremaine Edmonds. You had the weird forced fumble early on with Kirk Cousins by TJ Edwards, which looked inbounds. I had like a
he recovered
view of it. It looked inbounds, and then I saw the replay on Twitter again because they didn't replay it at the stadium, and it looked inbounds to me. So, but honestly, throughout the game, like the defense was probably the loudest. I think people had more faith in the defense because how it had been playing. It actually had been playing well. There's some big third down stops, you know, some big sacks or like, you know, the intentional grounding, things like that. And also you couldn't run on us really. Another game where the rushing defense showed up again. So I think overall, like most of the excitement was on that. But as soon as we got the ball on offense, you know, I don't know. There wasn't that much excitement on the Bagent second drive until he started forcing it. You know what I mean? Like to DJ a couple times, and then that Tyler Scott play got the crowd going crazy. But yeah, it was a roller coaster, just like most Bears game, a roller coaster of a ride where you think you have hope, and then it immediately gets snatched from you. So typical Bears fashion, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just it's a disappointing game. I mean, we both kind of, I think, went into it with higher expectations than we probably should have.
yeah, like most
all
games.
things considered.
Yeah, but, definitely.
So Tyson Bagent, we'll get to him obviously, but I want to start with Justin Fields. He you know, obviously injured. Let's see here, the dislocated right thumb. I guess the MRI, or I'm sorry, the X-rays, right, came back negative.
X-rays were negative.
MRI, I don't think we've gotten the results yet. At least I haven't seen any. But after suffering a dislocated right thumb on Sunday, Justin Fields is officially doubtful to play against the Raiders in Week 7, which is expected. There's a little bit of a timetable. There's a difference because if there is if there's a tear, if there's like, extreme damage or even just minimal, it could be a couple weeks. Could be looking at maybe even a Jay Cutler type situation. Where it's like most of the season.
Yeah. So however, I was looking. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, no. Go right ahead.
I was going to say, so basically I was watching I think it was like this physician, the sports physician. He talked about it. I watched a video on that. And then Mason West,
I know what you're talking about.
He's a PT. He talked about how basically no matter what on a dislocation, you have multiple ligament tears. That happens automatically. So It depends on at what point the dislocation's at. I think it's called like an MCL at the bottom, and then there's something else at the top. Again, I'm not a doctor, but depending on where the dislocation happened determines on the severity of it. Now, what we did hear from Ian Rappaport is that it's not going to be surgery, right? Which long-term may not be the best, but like basically how I view it is like they're trying to get Fields on the field because the clock's running out for his time here in Chicago. And we can
there's the implications for this offseason are huge, especially at that quarterback spot, given the fact that they are, have number 1 and 2 right now in the 2024 draft. But I agree, Mason.
So
I
think
the MCP is what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I think it's like it can be anything as 4 to 6 weeks, right? But
As much as 12 weeks.
yeah. So either way, I mean, you're out of what? That's going to be at least a quarter of the season, right?
Yeah.
And the issue is that you already had a slow start, right? So let's say the first 3 games were not hot. So that's a fifth of the season, right? You're losing a fourth of the season. So half of the season, you're not being graded, right? Or you've been graded poorly, right? So you look at that year 3 quarterback, right? Not seeing the jump that you need to. You have the overall pick, number 1 so far, number 2, and percentage wise, I think the likelihood of us getting number 1 is still 34%. The likelihood of us getting 2 is 29 or something like that. And he's not playing. I'm sorry, Tyson Bagent isn't going to win us. Like, if he might win 1, but he's not going to win us multiple games. It's not going to happen.
There's no reason that you can't even really say, you can't even say like with confidence that he's going to win you 1 because we don't know. I mean, he's a D2 product. You know, obviously he's all the hurdles he's covered, jumped to get here. He's beaten a lot of odds, you know, going to be rooting for him. I mean, that's
of course.
You know, obviously would love to see him. However, at this point, it's kind of difficult because I'm like, Fields is down. If he's out for a while, it's like, all right, might as well just get the 1 and 2 picks. You know, let's go through.
Lose. What do we?
Yeah, I mean,
you
had a lot of stuff you can play with there, but Fields.
Yeah, but you know, the coaching. Just one last thing is that there's no way that coaching for his life. This reminds me of the Nagy pace last year type of stuff.
Okay,
like you're gonna do everything possible because your seat is so hot. So
at this point, I don't care. Eberflus, I don't think there's anything he can.
Oh, he's gone.
Like
no, he's. I mean,
he has. I tweeted it after the game, and I want to just get the number like 100% correct here. Mm-hmm. It's super, super low, but Matt Eberflus has a .174 winning percentage as an NFL head coach.
Bro,
it's crazy. Fields is not that far behind with .190, I think, winning percentage.
That's a pitcher's batting average. Like that's bad, bro. That is so.
That's like a little league batting average.
Dude, that's so bad. It doesn't that's the worst in Bears history. There's no way you make it past this.
He's making a case for the worst in the NFL in probably the league history, to be honest. But I want to get to my first question here, Vicky. Oh, what is it? Vicky, bro.
No, I got to read this one. No, no, that's funny. I got to say this because I told my mom this because this was her first Bears game ever. And Vaughn here has a comment that says, Ficky, bro, stop going to Bears games. Every time you go, they lose and embarrass themselves. Facts. Okay. I told my mom, I was like, she's like, do you think the offense will show up today on the way there? And I was like, well, I've been to like 10 or so Bears games and the offense has never been there. Ever. Now, there's been games I've seen that they've won, right? I've been to games where they've won, but it wasn't like, wow, the offense showed out. So I told her, you know what, Mom? I might be a curse. And unfortunately, it came true. So, Vaughn, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, I think I got like 1 more to go to. So, yeah, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, you can go to your question, Dave. I just had to share that because it's spot on.
I want to take a moment here before we hop into my first question. But first, if you're here for the first time, we appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the like button, sub to the channel if you want to stick around. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live. We go live about 2 times a week. Typically it's always after the Bears game, about an hour or so, if not earlier after the game. However, Ficky was traveling. More importantly, I had internet issues. It was terrible. It was like slower than the Bears offense, like as far as just getting off to a good start. Like it was brutal. It was like 2 down. If you're familiar with internet, 2 down, 6 up, whatever it was. We're back now. We're kind of up in there. But if you're, like I said, first time, or if you came back, go ahead and hit the sub button. It does help the channel grow. We just truly appreciate it. So, Ficky, man, I'm gonna hop into the first question. It's the title of the pod. But Justin Fields, everything that's going on. Is he? I'll give my take. Is he the future in Chicago as it stands? And give me a scale of like 1 to 10, maybe to start, of where your confidence is in him, and then elaborate on that. And I'll do the same.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 2 ways to look at it, right? So from a fan perspective, I'm like, I would love to give this guy another chance, right? I still believe in Fields. I feel like, unfortunately, there's been bad habits created from this organization being a piece of shit at times. Let's be real. And we get it's so complex, all the way from him being QB3, his rookie year with Nagy, to last year, which we don't have to talk about because it was so god awful, and this continued to this year. So from a fan perspective, I'm like, you know what? There's still a chance when you draft a new rookie, right? It's again, you're rolling the dice. At least with Fields, I know what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are, and hopefully, he can just get better. Okay. But that's the fan in me. That's why they don't hire me. Okay. From a GM standpoint, there's two big things here. You did not draft this guy. You did not draft him. So there's always the excuse of like, that's not mine. Right. So easy, dump it. It's not tied to me when it comes to your longevity here as being a GM. And we're talking about Ryan Poles. Second thing, Flus is gone. We just mentioned that, right? It is tough. It is, unless you are like a franchise quarterback. So if you think of like Kirk Cousins has gone through 3 head coaches at this point, right? He is a franchise quarterback. May not be the best quarterback in the league. We obviously know that, but he's a franchise quarterback. If you're not a franchise quarterback, you don't make it through 3 coaches. It doesn't happen. So if Flus is gone, so is Fields. That's how I view it. It's tied together. And I feel like Flus is gone, right? If I felt that the coach was competent, right, which we can get into, then I feel like, maybe Fields has a chance. So do I think he has the skills to be a franchise quarterback? Absolutely. I do. I'd probably put it at like a 7 out of 10 of my confidence. My confidence that he's going to be with this team starting 2024, I give it a 2. It was more like a 5, right? Like it could be, but the injury knocked it down. You're losing time unless you come back, but with an injured thumb, right? If you can grip the ball, you're not throwing deep, which is that's your strength, right? Because of that injury. If you come back and ball out, which I just don't see happening because of injury, not because he can't do it, but because of injury, your stock's just dropping, right? And with us having the 1st and 2nd pick, which most likely both of those would be top 5. I'm sorry. We're definitely going to be top 5. And how the Panthers are playing, they have not won a game. You're going to be top 5.
Only team in the league.
Only team in the league. It is going to be hard for me to think that one of those picks isn't number 1 or one of those picks is not top 3, which can get you a quarterback, right? So overall, I'd say realistically, which makes my heart hurt because I love Fields and I want him to be the future of this team. Always wanted that. I don't think he's going to be the future of this team, which is unfortunate. What about you? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot. First of all, I agree with almost everything you just said. Well said. Agree with that. I want to bring up a thing about Justin Fields about being the future. The reason I bring it up is because this morning, sometimes, Backpage Sports, we had this right here. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger here. I think that's probably good enough for our Spotify, Apple listeners. What I have on the screen is the Sun-Times Backpage Sports Bagent of Change, and underneath it you have the sentence here with Fields reverting to his frustrating form before injury, rookie QB at least fun to watch, and Bears loss. And so for me, it's like this page right here got lit up. There was a lot of quote tweets. I think over 531 quote tweets.
Oh, who knows that much? That's incredible.
It's a lot, man. 1.3 million views. So I mean, they accomplished that aspect. However, for me, it's like Justin Fields, his future in Chicago. That's a loaded question, but I thought it'd be a fun one to kind of start the show with because, I mean, it's Justin Fields. It's our quarterback. It's a position that the Bears have just not been able to successfully get right, no matter the prospect, no matter the type of quarterback that they get as far as, a mobile pocket, true pocket. They trade for one, draft one. It just has not worked out. So for me, it's like Justin Fields. And the most frustrating part is I just don't think he can recover, at least not in Chicago. And one of the main reasons for this is the coaching. You nailed that. I think they failed. Yeah. I think one of the things they've kind of failed here, probably the most with Justin, is the Flus hire. And it sucks because, I mean, say you go and get a different type of coach, whether it's just offensive minded, maybe he is a little bit different. Maybe he looks better, and maybe if you went offensive coordinator that actually had experience calling games instead of Luke Getsy, maybe he's different too. or he's the same.
Yo.
We don't know. But for me, it's like the Bears failed him, and they failed him over and over again. It started with Matt Nagy, then it got to Ryan Poles, and then him hiring Flus, and then Getsy. And it's just like they've consistently failed him. And not that he's perfect, absolutely not, but he's talented. And we've said it before, he's the most talented quarterback they've ever had. And they just
Easily.
they failed him, man. And I know it's a loaded question. However, with that sometimes cover, featuring Tyson Bagent, nothing against him. I'll root for him. I'll root for him this Sunday. It's a little bit more difficult just because, the draft capital is so paramount.
I want you to do well, but we need to lose.
There's the Bears needed to win this game to stay within probably wild card. It's getting out of hand now, especially with the Fields injury.
There's no chance.
But Tyson Bagent, the sentence or two after says, with Fields reverting to his frustrating form before injury, rookie quarterback at least fun to watch. And I'm like, did he not? I don't know who wrote this. Was this Jace? I don't even know. Whoever wrote it, it's like, did you not watch the last two games where he threw for 8 touchdowns, 1 interception?
Oh, no. Don't even do that. Did you not watch the last 2 quarters that Tyson played?
Yeah.
Let's not act like this dude fumbled. Don't even act like this dude didn't fumble for a touchdown. Okay, right? That's a big play.
Which
man threw
Darnell Wright almost got to that.
Almost. Darnell Wright's a dog.
Jesus, man, he was moving so fast. He was just a tick slow, preventing that touchdown. But anyways, keep going.
And then let's not forget about the 30-yard pass downfield. That was a lame duck. Like, that was nowhere close. Like, as soon as because it was literally throwing towards my red zone. As soon as he let it go, I'm like, bro, that's like a punt. That's nowhere. Like, the thing just fluttered in the air. Okay. And again, I'm not. And saying, you tweeted,
Tyson, you said Fields makes that throw.
He does. Okay. Fields will probably also fumble, right? Because he does that too. But
that's fair.
He would make that throw. And again, it's not to say. For me, it's not a bashing of Tyson. It's saying, like, that article makes it seem like, let me put it this way. It's clear as day on this. We have a better chance of winning games with Justin Fields. If you can't win a game with Justin Fields, but somehow you can win a game with Tyson Bagent, that's coaching. That makes no sense. Justin Fields is 10 times more talented than Tyson, okay? So if you can't get something that's more talented to work better in your system than an undrafted, and again, props to Tyson. I want to see him do well. Like, I think he's going to have a long career in the NFL, like as a backup. Like, I could definitely see that happening and get some starts like he will with us. But if you can't get a top 11 pick, someone who got his team in Ohio State to the national championship, if the best quarterback talent-wise to ever step foot in Hallis Hall, and you think your better option is the backup, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. It makes no fucking sense. That's an indictment of the coaching staff, organization from top to bottom. Because if you have something good and you can't make good work, then how would you make less than good better? That doesn't it just blows my mind. So, again, I want Tyson to do well. This isn't an anti-Tyson rant. That's not what I'm saying. No. I'm just saying the coaching staff has been absolute garbage, bro. And this is the one thing I got to bring up because I talked about it. I couldn't believe it. 3rd and 7 in field goal range. We do a draw, okay? Now, I get it, right? It's not my favorite play. Sometimes a draw, that if you're going to do a draw, that's when you do it. They're expecting a pass. We've done draws before. They've worked, okay?
Right.
But, I'll be upset that happened. But then to follow up a quarter later, 3rd and 1 in the red zone or like the 30-yard line, something like that. It's close. Scoring range. You're in shotgun and you pass it. And I don't know, we get sacked. I don't know. It wasn't something dumb. I'm like, 3rd and 1, you're in. That's 2-play territory. If we love running the ball, the running was working. Deontay Foreman was a dog out there. Hand the ball off.
Too, man.
If he doesn't get it, hand it off again. Like, at least if you fail that way, like from a offensive play scheme, I'll be like, that makes sense. They just didn't execute. It's 3rd and 1 on 4th and inches, or less than a yard. You know what? I can't blame coaches for players not being able to get an inch. You know what I mean? Or like a yard. That's on them. But the play call that you made on 3rd and 1 to where now you have to kick a field goal. But when you're in a situation earlier where you're supposed to pass and you run, like you're doing the complete opposite. Like you're almost overthinking, thinking like, oh, they're not expecting this. When sometimes it's like, yo, just take the simple shit. Nagy used to do it all the time. And that used to bother me. So yeah, I know went on a long rant here, but like the coaching staff, I've said it since day one, week one, it's the coaching staff. It's the coaching staff. It's the coaching staff. So can't wait for them to be gone.
So subpar. It's honestly bottom of the league. Probably easy. It might be the worst coaching staff in the NFL. Because right now I feel like there's a lot of competent coaches, like coaching staffs in general right now. You look at the Texans, very, very good. I mean, even the Panthers to an extent, there's just sometimes the Bears is just like, they revert back to their old ways almost. Like one of the big things that I noticed with Justin when he was in there was no really rolling out, moving the launch point where it was like, it was working to a T. And sure, the Vikings, first of all, they got out-coached. Is it Brian Flores over there, who's the head coach for the Vikings right now? Outclassed the Bears from start to finish. It's almost shocking. I'm not sure how pissed off you are in regards to like, we knew this team blitzes. It was
I got
one of the headlines.
I got
one of the headlines, and it's like the Bears were not prepared. Let's hear them.
Yeah, no, it's that this team, they run more cover one and blitzes than any other team in the league. I think they lead at like where's that number at? Or was it cover? Wait a second. Who did we just play? Because I tried to forget all of the. Who did we just play? Why is my brain melting? Help me out. Vikings.
Commanders. Oh, Vikings. Yeah.
Vikings. Yeah, my brain's all over the place. Yeah, they lead the league in being in cover 0, which means it's like man, and then you're blitzing. Cover 0 means like it's a man blitz, right? They lead the league at 15%. Like the next closest one is 10%. The Giants. And then everybody else is like 5% or lower. So like obviously number 1 blitzing team in the league. We knew that. They talk about it. Data shows it. I know this team knows it. I know there's no way this coaching staff doesn't know it, right? First play of the game, they send 6, right? They shift the line to the right. Fields gets clocked. First play of the game. Now, did Fields hold the ball too long? Did he not throw to the, did he not do the quick throw right away? Was the call not made? Did he not call that blitzing linebacker on the outside? I don't know all those answers, right? But for a fact is that's the first play of the game that comes out. Awful. Then on defense, I will give Flus credit. Man, he knows how to call defense. I'm sorry. The defense has been 10 times better since he became the play caller. Him as a head coach, dog shit. Him as a defensive coordinator, which he did in the Colts, like he's pretty good. To make this team play how it's played the past 3 weeks in defense, I got to give him credit. But we talked about like the hits principle, right? First play of the game on defense, neutral zone infraction by our boy Billings. I love Billings, but it's like, yo, how is the first play on both sides of the ball just mentally like stupid? It made no sense at all. So
I initially
the coaching staff
with that too.
Go.
But I was like, it's Andrew Billings. Like he's been pretty damn
he's been
good.
balling.
So I was like, I'm gonna give you that. But it was so I see what you're saying, just so frustrating. And that's what you say, man. It's just coaching. And honest to God, there's a comment here. It says, let's see here from Billiam on YouTube. It says, I think Bill Lazar is the best OC I've seen for this team in a while.
No.
And honest to God, I thought the Nagy era was frustrating. This Flus, campaign has been brutal. I mean,
bro, what do you mean? We've won one game. We've won in his 3 games or 4 games in a year and a half. What did we go last year?
Right?
No, we went 3-14 last year. I think we went 3-14 last year and we won 1 game. Still, either way, 3, 4, 5 games in a year and a half. We have not won a home game in 385 days. If you take away yesterday, I know you can't just take away wins, but like if you were to not give her the win, like it's almost a year, bro. And we haven't won at home.
385 days since 385 days since they've won in Chicago. Bro, they also have not won on Sunday in like 385 days because every win they've had since was the Patriots game, which is Monday Night Football. Yeah. And then, Thursday of course, we had the Thursday night win, which, God, I mean, those wins almost feel a little bit better because it's on that prime time window. So it's like they feel great for your morale, especially this Commanders game had me feeling, okay, wild card is back on the table, feeling ridiculous. And I feel ridiculous after that game because it's like, I thought we were at least going to score points, at least be competent and have answers for this blitz. And I thought Justin would do a little, I thought he would obviously be better. But at the same time, it is coaching, and I'm not going to make excuses because Justin had his flaws there. As far as like, I don't know how you saw the game kind of firsthand, hanging on to the ball. Was that an issue? Or
but the thing is, like, I can't tell what the reads are. I don't get replay, so I have no idea what he's looking at. For like
some of his reads look off, man, because like his number one read on a hot should be DJ Moore, and it was like there was one where it was Kari Blasingame was the first option, and it's like
that's my point. Is like from the stands, you just see people open, and so obviously it's easy to be like, why don't you give him the ball? But it's like I have no idea. I have no idea what he's looking at. There's definitely plenty of plays where DJ Moore, and I was telling the fans around me, they're like, throw it. I'm like, bro, we have no idea if that's even his first read. It probably should be, which again would be coaching. Like if you see DJ Moore with the 2 past games he had, why would you not still force it to him? Yeah. Why are there not more plays where that is the first read? If you want to make it easy, when Tyson Bagent came in, right? You know what they did? All his passes were on first reads. He threw it to his first read, and he threw it quick.
But Tyson was get the ball out so damn quick, like because I felt like he didn't want to hold on to the ball. Like I understand the screens, but I'm like, but it wasn't like going anywhere.
No,
and
the
ball was kind of shaky too.
I'm like, but no, I'm trying to say like if you're gonna make Tyson do, if it's not working, then why don't you do something similar where it's just okay? Look at DJ first, and if not, then you got to kind of figure out your like simplified. I'm sorry, the thing is like the stuff's not working, and then they stick with it, and then Fields gets fucked up, right? Confidence goes down the drain. Like that's what it is with these quarterbacks, right? And like with a lot of things in life, I mean, we're human. You're confident, you play, you execute much better than just anything in life, right? When you're not as confident, you're scared that this won't be there. You're worried about X, Y, and Z. Of course you're going to fuck up. So I feel like him getting hit so much in the beginning, right? And running for his life, because he was running for his life again. He had those 2 big 3rd down runs, right? He was escaping all over the place. Even that last play where he flicked the ball, he probably held on to it too long again, which is an ongoing issue. But it's just like, I feel like we broke the man. And then now, because of his injury, there's no coming back.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I want to finish up with, Justin Fields being the future. And it's like, it really almost feels too late. It really does. And the injury almost is like the final nail in the coffin. And it sucks because it's not fair. It really isn't. And sure, it really depends on when he comes back and the details of this injury and how long he's out. Because if he misses a game, fine. He may have some time to kind of salvage, make a case for him sticking around. But it's like we already said last couple pods, he has to be perfect. He has to really show that he is better. And I know Caleb Williams had a worst game of his career against Notre Dame. But it's like he has to be perfect if they're not going to go either one Caleb Williams, Drake May. We can get into that. I know we're going to have plenty of opportunity to talk quarterbacks after we both kind of do our scouting on them a little bit more in depth. And it sucks. It's getting very, very close to that time. But for me, it's like I don't believe there's any time left for Justin to really show Poles. And who knows if he's going to stick around, which I think he should. I think you're a big believer in Poles as well.
Poles is going to stick around, and I actually have something on that. So Robert Schmitz, friend of our show.
Let's transition to that. Yeah, that was the next step. Ryan Poles and what he's done.
Yeah, so Ryan Poles, I think, will get an opportunity to get another head coach. Pace got 7 years. The Bears are not quick to fire, like in general. So I don't see them firing Poles after 2 years.
Better or worse.
For better or for worse. Also, we have, because of Poles and his decision-making, he's set up for the future. We've talked about this, right? We have 2 they're going to be top 10 no matter what. They're like 99%, okay? 2 top 10 picks, okay? We have $130 million in the 2024 cap space, right? Which is, I think you've talked about, like, I think it's like first, and if not, it's top 3 again, okay? So he's going to build around that. We talk about, of course, every GM has misses. To think this is a perfect hit, that you're going to hit on everything as a GM is not possible. But we do talk about his hits that he's had, okay? DJ Moore, he got in here. Dog. We already know that. Killer, bro. He's like best wide receiver to step through this room since Brandon Marshall, okay? Step in Hallis Hall. Second thing is So his signees are playing well now. Like TJ Edwards has been playing well since week 1, all over the place. Great signing. Like he was all over the place this past week. Tremaine Edmonds, we're starting to see more from him, right? Almost 2 picks in a row, right? Last week he almost had one, and then this week. And he's all over the place too. The Cole Kmet extension, great move. Cole Kmet's been balling out. He's going to have a great season. The Nate Davis signing, great as well. He didn't overspend on like McGlinchey, a lot of these, tackles that we all wanted. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to overpay. All of them have sucked. Go look at their PFF scores, garbage. So I think his philosophy of like not overpaying and this is what you're going to get and getting like value people has been fantastic. I've been happy about that. Now he does have misses. Velus Jones, where you took him, probably a miss, right? But that's going to happen. So I look at Poles overall and say what he's done with this roster, the return he got for Mac, the return he got for Robert Quinn, right? Who played horrible once we shipped him off. I think he's done more positive in building this team for a long future than he has like having misses. So with that said, and then knowing the McCaskies don't just get rid of people immediately, I think he's 100% not going anywhere. Right. And the question is, when you said earlier about he hired Poles, he hired Flus. I almost was like the air quotes, right? I'm like, did he necessarily? We had that like kind of a Ryan Polian.
The list was narrowed down to
narrowed down. So he may have, right? And that's fine. If that's the case, that's his biggest miss, right? But I think that he gets another shot and a chance to actually pick his quarterback of the future. Now, if that doesn't work, right? In Bears fashion, like it typically does. I think 5 years or 4 years, he's gone. But I like
what you said there about Ryan Pace getting 7 years. That's a long time, which honestly, I didn't even realize it was that long of a term. But I agree. I think he's earned it just the way he set us up just in 2024 alone. Like he's going to get a chance to pick his guy, whether you like it or not. I don't think if you took a poll, like a presidency poll, as far as like maybe favor and how he's feeling, probably a pretty good approval rating. I would say at least over 60%.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably at like 60. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like 60.
And maybe it depends on when you pull him. If you pull him right before the draft, you're probably at that 80%, when you're getting that.
Oh, yeah.
When you're but right now it's like when you're in the dumpster fire right now and everything's kind of just, looking like shit. Probably
I did forget about one of his
60.
His biggest miss
Chase
is
Claypool
too. Yeah, I
didn't know if we were gonna bring him up again. I thought we banned that topic.
My bad. But yeah, I think overall though, like I think he has done more positive for this team moving forward long term. Like when we get to the draft next year and we have these 2 picks, King Poles. Like don't forget who got you that. Yeah. He hedged his bets for Fields. If Fields doesn't work, he set himself up to where you can go find that quarterback. And this draft, I know like it says it all the time, but like a lot of the analysts I've been following and whatnot, they're saying this draft is like very, very stacked. And I agree, like Marvin Harrison Jr., to think that we can get, and I'm not like automatically going there, but if the worst happens and Fields doesn't work out, what'll make you feel a little bit better? Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., or Drake May and Marvin Harrison Jr., or Olu, the tackle, who's a dog, or Jared Verse, the number 1 DN. So I think he was able to hedge himself to make it so it's not like, our quarterback sucks, but now we don't know what to do moving forward, which the Bears have been in that position for before. This will allow us to, bounce back because we'll have a better roster also set up, right? It's not like we have a bunch of bad players, right? We just have a bunch of bad coaches who can't get some of our players to execute to the potential that they have. So I do have a question for you, though. There's 2 people up for extensions, right? There was 3. One of them got signed, Cole Kmet. Based off the play so far, only one gets signed. Who do you sign? Do you sign JJ or do you sign Darnell Mooney? And why?
That's a very good question. I actually wanted to talk about Darnell Mooney. So for me, it's like going through his stats right now. He has 10 receptions for 152 yards, his longest being 39. He has 1 touchdown. Dude. Last year he obviously had 40 receptions. It was cut short with injury, 493 yards, 56 being his longest, 2 touchdowns. His one really, really phenomenal year, which, his rookie season campaign, 631 yards, 61 receptions, 4 touchdowns, Followed that up with a crazy year where that's where you kind of saw the momentum going up with 1,055 yards, 81 receptions, 4 touchdowns. Again, it's just his production has dipped the last 2 years. So in this NFL league, it's like, what have you done for me lately? That's always going to be the case, almost on a weekly basis. And with him, it's been 2 years, and I know there's an injury in there, and I love Mooney. I love him. However, it's like at this point, I mean, that receiving core outside of DJ Moore, which I thought was going to be one of the strongest, rooms that the Bears had with the Claypool debacle, and then Mooney's production at all-time low, career low. You got to go JJ easily. But even then, I'm not sure you can even, depending on the money. It really all depends on the money with Jalen Johnson, because I think he's a very, very good caliber corner. Not top 10.
No. But he balled out.
Top 10.
When his issue is injuries. But when that man's on the field,
that's what I'm saying.
Again, he had trust me. Anytime they threw to JJ, he deflected it. They couldn't catch it. He played amazing again. The previous games he played, before he got injured, he played well. Like the first 2 weeks, I think his PFF his grade was high, and like the passer rating allowed, things like that. Like it was fantastic. So the issue with him is, the injury bug that he's always had that's riddled him in college. So I have to agree with you though. I love Mooney. I got a Mooney jersey. I got a Fields jersey. I'm probably gonna have to get new jerseys next year. Yeah. I just
wait on it. No more jerseys.
No. I'm buying it. No. I'm not trying to ship these guys out. I am still a fan of both those players. And again, the fan in me is different than the realism in me. You know what I mean? Like the fan in me wants Fields and Mooney to be on this roster next year, but realistically, they're not helping their case.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to get into Jalen Johnson, because I think Mooney, no, you do not extend him unless it's I don't even think you could do multi-year at this point, just given the production and the injury, and not that he's injured a lot, but it's just more so his production post that ankle injury. It just isn't the same. He looks good. He looks fast, especially in practice, training camp. He was his get off speed is, pretty best probably in that room, faster than DJ Moore, but it's like the game, and it's just not, translating right now. And so a factor of that is obviously Fields, obviously going to DJ Moore a lot. That's, Mooney was perhaps the number one target all of last year up into his injury. So, I mean, he's taken that second fiddle. Even with Claypool, being gone, it's not there. The production is just not there. But Jalen Johnson, I want to bring up some stats right now in 2023. First of all, when targeted, he has opposing quarterbacks have a passer rating of 64.6. That's very, very low.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I want to go through. I want to combine that with his, first rookie season. It was 102.8. Okay, all right, that's fine. Went down a little bit, 96.8. His second year. And now, obviously, he's played in he's only has 224 total snaps right now. But I mean, he has 64.6. He has no penalties. He has 1 pass breakup, no interceptions. Again, ball production is probably why he's not up there getting big time money.
Yeah.
And that's, getting a turnover, making plays on the ball it's just part of it. He has let's see here. He has 10 tackles. He has only 1 missed tackle, 8.3% tackle miss percentage. And then he has 5 stops as far as on his own that resulted in a turnover and downs, almost like a punt. And I mean, he has 8 receptions for 95 yards, 11.9 per reception. A lot of that is after the catch, 56 yards of that 95. I mean, man, he is very, very
he's solid. We need
capable.
We need good players on this team. And he is, at the end of the day, if you were to grade out all our players, he's a top 10% graded player.
Is he a blue chip? Is he a top tier? A guy in the league can't let go.
He's not a blue chip. Is like a blue chip for our team right now is probably Donald Wright. That's a blue chip where it's like, okay, if you stay healthy, bro, you're having like a Pro Bowl.
And
you're
DJ
having a Pro
Moore,
Bowl.
I would think.
Oh yeah, DJ too. Yeah.
Okay,
He's shown that. Yeah.
that's the easy
So
one.
those two are blue chip, but right behind them, like if you're rating the best players on our team, like just overall, number one's DJ Moore, and I'm putting JJ second. Now, Darnell Wright is more of like what he can be. He's a rookie, so I can't put him that high. He's balling out as a rookie. But who's better than like behind DJ? Who are you putting? Cole Kmet's good. He's doing well. He's solid. But I think JJ is better than Cole. And that's saying it right there. So if you're a top 3 player on the team, I view it and go, I can't let you go. We're a 3-win, a 4-win team in a year and a half. Why are we letting our second best player go? Find out where,
and at some point you have to you can't keep letting, I think we've said it before, but you can't let good players go. You can't keep trading them. Roquan, all these guys. However, the linebackers that we paid made some impact plays against the Vikings, which was awesome. I messed up. His rookie year is 2020. He had 106.7 pass rating that year. So it's gone down every year. It's gone down at least, 4 or 5 points. And then of course in year 4 for Jalen, he is playing. I mean, he is locked down. I know he gives up a couple plays here and there, but he's looking really, really good. And so for me, it's like, if the money's there, and I'm not a cap expert, we can bring in Brad for this, but it's like, I don't know what his extension would look like, but as long as it's fair market value, and then I think it's a no-brainer. The problem is, are Jalen and Ryan Poles and and his agent and the Bears, are they is that number in the vicinity? Is that doable? What Jalen is wanting and then what they're willing to kind of provide? Because we've seen it before. Ryan Poles and his guys, they get a number and they're smart, they're analytical about it, right?
Yeah.
And they stick to that damn number, man. And so it's like Jalen, I think he had a quote here. I want to bring it up.
Oh, I think that guy 44. Yeah, he just commented here at the exact same time. Is that what you're going to speak on?
That's what I was it. Yep, the right Parkins and Spiegel on the radio. Guy. Yeah, read my mind. That guy over there on YouTube. Anyways, the Bears got to do. This is Jalen Johnson on the trade deadline looming, which the Bears could be selling a couple of their key players, which I do not want to see. Yeah, that's true.
Not buying.
Well, we've seen some crazy. I mean, that would honestly feel like a Bears move, just thinking they can.
That's what Ryan.
That would be more Ryan Poles or Ryan Pace for sure.
Yeah.
So the Bears got to do what's best for them. This is Jalen Johnson again on the trade deadline looming. The Bears got to do what's best for them, and I got to do what's best for me. First of all, that's not a good start, especially with how it was sounding early on in the season and even training camp. It was like kind of positive, thinking it can kind of get done. But then he went on, I'm not forcing anything. I won't. Of course, as I've been saying since day one, I want to stay here. This is my first team, my home. So started off rocky, but he reiterated, since he's been saying since the beginning, is he wants to be in Chicago. So it's like, get it done. This is what you're supposed to do.
Here's a comment that just earned it. I agree. And here's a comment by Laz that says, I'm not sure JJ wants to say he can get the same money elsewhere. I think you always get more in with the team that drafted you. So I'm gonna have to disagree on that. I think his best chance to get money will be with us. Even if Poles has a cap on it, I think his best chance to get money is with us, especially because
I'm gonna take Laz on that one. I kind of agree with him almost because of the culture. I know we talk about Flus and Justin Fields a lot and how they failed him, but it's like these players have lost so much.
Yeah.
Like they just it's that mentality, and I'm sure they are trying to change it. And JJ's close with Mooney, Justin. He has some guys, some friends, lifelong friends on this team, but it's like, okay, I've seen enough. I know what this league, winning does a lot, puts more money in your pockets, marketing, all these type of things that can go into it. In Chicago, you're not going to get a bigger market outside New York, but it's like Chicago, you only have one football team. New York, you got two. So the market's there, but it's like the culture, the winning aspect. It's been over almost a year. You went without winning a game. It's like Jalen's like, all right, Last says I can get my money and I can get it elsewhere. Yep. He said,
no, I agree.
Players are tired of losing. So for me, it's like, if they're not willing to maybe pay a little bit more for that hometown, keep loyalty, maybe just to keep a player of his caliber where he's going to get paid, whether it's with the Bears or not, so For me, it's like,
yeah, no, I let me clarify. The first
no, I
part
think
I agree. The first part is right. I agree with both of you. He's probably fed up with losing. Who wouldn't be? So I agree with you on that. I'm saying money talks. The players will go where the money's at, and I think his best opportunity to get the most money is with this team. So, if he gets bigger money elsewhere, he's gone. It's it. Like it's easy as that. If Poles is like, yo, I'm only giving you 13 million, right? And a team says, hey, I'm giving you 18, he's gone. Like you're gonna go get that extra 5 million. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think we have the best opportunity to keep him, but it doesn't mean that he will be on this team. So last great comments. I think that's good stuff.
And Fick, before we kind of finish up the show and everything, first of all, if you have questions for us, we're going to kind of end the pod here with just answering some of your questions. So if you have anything that's you kind of want to hear what we think or you just want to talk about it, go ahead and throw it in the chat, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, here, whoever's watching live. We want to go ahead and answer whatever we can. And then secondly, I know you've heard us say it a couple times in the show, but if you're enjoying the content, first of all, we're almost at 2,000 subs for the channel on YouTube. So first of all, thank you. Secondly, once we get there, we are going to do a giveaway. We were thinking Justin Fields jersey, but we're not sure. We'll probably just leave it up to you guys. We'll probably
just about that one, Dave.
Yeah, we're going to do something fun. Maybe we'll do a poll on our Twitter, which you can check out our podcast page on Twitter at BFR_pod. And then of course check out Ficky, myself on Twitter as well, and our ats are on the screen right here. But again, like, subscribe. It really does help the channel. You don't even have to subscribe. Just hit the like on this video. It kind of helps disperse it. And you guys have been great on it so far, and we appreciate it. But again, almost at 2,000 subs. I think we're about 50 away. So once we get there, we'll do a really cool giveaway. Maybe like Walter Payton, Dick Butkus, maybe throw.
Oh, no, we could do that, but also, we still do have a dog on this team that people love, and Dobbsy said it. We do have DJ Moore, so he will be on the team next year. I promise you that. So
what we'll do is, whoever wins, we'll kind of connect via Twitter, whatever it might be, and we will let you kind of pick what you kind of want to get, whether it's DJ Moore, Dick Butkus, whatever it might be. We'll let you kind of make that decision, and then it's on you guys and not us. But again, we appreciate the support. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. Ficky, I want to go through, before we get to those questions, if there are any, I want to go through some Tyson Bagent. I know we talked about Justin Fields a lot. However, Tyson's likely going to be starting this week, just with Justin going to be on, recovering from that thumb injury. We don't know how long it's going to be. But Tyson Bagent, let's see here. The players. I want to go over some of these quotes after the game on what the players were saying in regards to Tyson, how he handled the huddle, just his moxie in that game, and how they feel moving forward. So this is from Kevin Fishbane. He had some awesome, interesting quotes that he got from the locker room. So I want to start with Tyler Scott, friend of the pod. He was on the pod early before the season. I'll have to have him on again. But he had a good thing about Tyson. He said he came in, had command of the huddle, had command of the offense. And then he just has this confidence about him. So first of all, Tyler Scott, I thought he looked very, very good. He had some really nice plays coming back the ball from Tyson.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah. That was a great catch.
I want to move to DJ Moore. He's a baller, as you could see. He showed he belongs. He made impressive throws, not that deep ball, and was doing well at the line. It was cool to see. Lucas Patrick. He said of Tyson Bagent, full confidence in 1-7. He said, what most people don't get to see is the moxie of that kid. We all know that this is Justin's team. Justin's our quarterback. That's not an easy role to be behind somebody like that. That kid came in and showed why we like him, why the locker room has his back. He's tough, special kid. Lastly, Cole Kmet. He had this about Tyson. He said, self-confidence. I think that's evident. Being around him since camp, I think he's got a lot of self-confidence. He's got conviction in what he does and what he says. If he's got to take over for a little bit, we're going to rally around him. So again, Tyson, he didn't really feel like he was afraid of the moment. Of course, he had, some mistakes, rookie mistakes. We get it. Going to give him time, going to root for him. But I want your thoughts on Tyson moving forward. Like, I know we talk a lot about Justin. is there any little bit of excitement just to kind of see a full week? I think about what he can do, and it's nice to see. Obviously, the teammates are not going to not going to hound on the guy and dog him, but they didn't have to say some of the things he said. So first of all, how are you feeling about the season? What's the outlook, Tyson Bagent, moving forward? It feels just to miss significant time.
I mean, I still want to lose at this point. Like, there's two reasons, right? Not only, and we'll get to it because there's a question about Caleb, but not only for like getting your quarterback of the future, if that is the case, right? Because that is important to figure out. We need a low draft pick for that. But also, if the fan in me wants Justin to be the future, the more Tyson balls out, the less like that doesn't help Justin's case in any sort of way. So because of that, I don't want Tyson. Like, let me put it this way: I'm not hoping for anything because I would never wish downfall on a man. Like, that's not who I am, and I'm not gonna be like, man, I hope he sucks out there. But I'm not necessarily like, man, I hope he throws for 400 yards, right? Necessarily, because at the end of the day, for this, the ideal scenario for this team is that Justin Fields is your franchise quarterback, and now you have 2 first-round picks, which we've seen polls get a haul for. So if you already have your quarterback in place, imagine what you can get in return, which will be even more than what you got last year, because Caleb Williams and Drake May are way more highly touted, right? At least from a hype perspective, than Bryce Young. So a lot more people calling on the phone. So that's the ideal situation. So for that to happen, Tyson can't look good. He can't. But the human in me is like, I go out there and ball out. Like, this is your opportunity. You're trying to make a career for yourself, generational money for you and your family. So I would never wish, for negativity to happen.
He could be a backup, and that's a pretty lucrative job right there.
Ask Chase Daniel.
I agree with you.
That's you can make.
I
agree
money. With you. Yeah, Chase Daniel.
He got the bag.
Another story.
He got the bag for sure.
So I agree with you. However, with Tyson, it's like there's 2 things, and it's very unfair for him where he's at because of that draft capital and what we kind of have at our disposal and the caliber of prospects coming out that are, you could say, almost better than Caleb, for sure, better than Fields as a prospect. I think that's pretty fair to say. A lot of scouts say that. However, but it's like Tyson, he's at a spot where it's like, I either want him to be Kurt Warner, be that guy where it's like, oh,
you want Brock Purdy.
He's our guy. He's our franchise guy. I don't want Brock Purdy. No, I mean, okay. First of all, Brock Purdy, I understand he's playing great, but I'm a believer, but it's like, I'm not like, I don't think he couldn't elevate this Bears team. If he was in this spot right now,
nobody can elevate this Bears team, bro.
Hell no.
So this team sucks.
But for me, it's like, I either need Tyson to be not a franchise guy. I want him to be a top 7 quarterback in the league, or I'm out. Because like I can't have this guy being Mitch Trubisky, mediocre. He won us a few games, but now we're not in control of the draft anymore. Per se, even though we still have 2 first rounders. It's like it's unfair to him, but I need him to either be like a Hall of Fame quarterback, like this is our guy finally, or just lose us the rest of the way, Tyson. Like maybe make you some money with some endorsements or something, but it's like it's unfair expectations, and I know it's not again not fair for him, and I will root for him, but it's like I do not want him just like messing up our draft right now.
No, I feel you. I'm in that same.
It's so unfair. And I feel very odd to say it, and I if you clip this,
it is what it is.
Sounds fucking terrible, but
I mean, it is what it is, bro. We are a shitty team, and we need to find our franchise quarterback. Whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's Tyson Bagent, whether it's Caleb Williams, Drake May, whoever it is, we have not answered that question for decades on decades. So unless that person comes in and proves that's who they are, you're out. Like, that's what it is. That's how it is right now. And I just got to show up this comment from Renee Cano. Sorry for mispronouncing that. There's no disrespect, but he said, how can you possibly still think that Justin Fields is still the future of this team? Man, talk about delusional. We're not saying Justin Fields. And if you just hopped on, that's fine, because it sounds like we're probably like, oh, Justin Fields is the future.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. We said in an ideal, the best case scenario is that Justin Fields is the future. So then we can get a haul for their first round pick.
But
in the beginning of the
right now, you're absolutely right. It is hard. I cannot
Correct.
picture it. He would have to go on. He would have to be
a tear.
You would have to go on a tear. Whenever he gets back, and he has to get back at a decent time because he can't come back for 4 games and ball out. That's not enough.
Yeah. No, he'd have to come back
and miss the Raiders, and
he
then
needs to play at least 8 games. He needs an 8-game streak of like, you look great.
Yeah, and with him, it's consistency. It's just, and you could throw in coaching. That's okay, but it's like he has to elevate above that. Unfortunately, he has to be better than the chaos that surrounded him. Since being in Chicago. But I agree, Renee. I'm optimistic as hell when it comes to this team, and I'm like, I just don't see a way where we're not. Yeah. I mean, I pinned on my Twitter right now. The pinned tweet I have is the 24 draft order right now where it stands. Where Carolina, their pick that goes to the Bears, and then of course we're number 2 with our own pick. And I'm like, hope is a dangerous thing. It can drive a man insane. I think that's from Shawshank Redemption. I think Morgan Freeman. Shout out to that. That's a great movie. Great. But it's like I have that pin because I'm like, it is a dangerous thing, but I'm holding on to it right now, And as a Bears fan, I feel like the offseason is more fun almost sometimes.
No, that's the offseason is always more fun because this team sucks in the regular season year after year. And so that's the most exciting part. It's hope. You get hope up.
Yeah.
Before we go to the next part, we do got a super chat from our boy Tito again with the $5 super chat. We appreciate you in here all the time. Said Bears need to do what the Lions did and build in the trenches. Don't think Mayor Williams will make it here. QBs die here. Exactly. I've been I'm such a huge advocate of in the trenches. But you also know who's a huge advocate of in the trenches?
Ryan Poles.
Ryan Poles. And I'm sorry, not only is he hit on right, Braxton Jones late. That's a hit. I'm sorry. Where he was drafted, that's a hit. Ja'Tari Carter, again, I think I got a tweet here from Brad Spielberger again. Bright spot for the Bears yesterday. Facing a Vikings blitz rate over 70%, Ja'Tari Carter allowed 0 QB pressures on 27 pass block reps, right? Looks like with Braxton Jones, Carter, and Darnell Wright, I don't know, maybe Ryan Poles knows how to scout an offensive lineman. So if you want to follow that Lions track, we have the right guy at GM to do that. I promise you, he's going to at least build on the O-line, which is so important. And he's already got some pieces there. And then let's see if he can do it in the D-line as well. And we're starting to see some fruit of his labor with Javon and Pickens. So thank you, Tito, for the super chat. Really do appreciate that. We do have some questions if you want to transition to that, Dave. If you're cool with that.
Let's end with questions. Again, shout out to everyone that's kind of it's a lively stream for a Monday night.
This team sucks, bro. So I'm sorry. I try not to be negative, but it's just like, oh man, I'm lucky we had a lot of hair.
We had one game,
1 week of just like happiness. We waited about a year to get a week of happiness for just to get ripped right out of us. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Let's finish up questions.
Yeah. We got some questions here, so we'll go through them. So first one, this kind of like generic, but like Caleb talks. So I'll give my opinion on it. You can give yours. If we have the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams is a Bear. There's no question. It's set. It's set in stone. Yeah, he had a bad game. Quarterbacks have bad games. Patrick Mahomes had bad games in college. That's why he wasn't number 1 overall. Like, you can't expect these players to be perfect. And guess what? Caleb Williams has flaws like every other human and every other person to ever touch a football. But he won the Heisman for a reason. He's gonna win it probably again. The dude's balling out. So that's my opinion. Like it's as good as a can't miss is what they say. He may be overrated, which is fair, but he's still a dog.
USC still, won. So they're going to be playing in some meaningful games. And you could say that's on Notre Dame. Obviously, I think they messed up, as far as the end of that game. But it's like Caleb Williams, against top tier elite teams in college football, his competition, his resume, when you compare it to like Drake May, he has just a lot more production against top, organizations or just colleges, as far as he's battle tested. That's what I want to say. That's what I'm trying to get to. He's in the battle tested, man.
Yep. He's in the Pac-12, and that's right now. I know it's weird to think it's the best conference in football. Yeah. So like he's playing good competition.
And you look at Fields, I think he had a 3 interception game, and
Yeah, against
Again,
my alumni, against IU. He had like
so it's which is a weird game. Which
You're right, it
IU has a
happens.
decent defense, at least then. So
Back then,
again, Caleb Williams is absolutely the Caleb talk. I don't know if he's asking like Caleb talk, when is it going to start? I think it's already
it's already started.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
For us,
not by
I think
us,
we'll get there eventually. A little bit more in depth. I'm excited. I hate to say it because like we're in the middle of a season. There's a lot on the line, but Caleb Williams would be very exciting, because
this season's over.
Prospect.
You have to be hopeful for something.
You said this
season's over. It is over. There's nothing. Yeah. We're playing to see where we get positioned at this point, and to see if Fields is the guy. Which each week it looks less and less. Which breaks.
We're just trying to hold on. Most teams are trying to hold on for like a playoff berth or a wild card. Just playoffs in general. Hold on, stay in the hunt. We're trying to hold on to our top 2 picks.
Right.
That's what it is. Funny ass time.
Get your tank hats on. So okay. So moving to the next question we have from Justin. Great first name. He said, "Why the hell hasn't Poles got a center and who can block and snap?" Okay, great point. Another week, and actually, well, before we do that, Laz had a similar question, so I'm going to show his as well. Have we seen the end of Whitehair? I don't see him starting at guard at center. Okay, so to answer both of these, right? You can't fix every position in an offseason. So best believe that Poles going into this next offseason, center is a top priority because Lucas Patrick is not the guy, right? For like backup, sure. But like for starter, absolutely not. And Cody Whitehair is, we're starting to see the decline of that. He's been in the league for a while. He was a great guard for us, but he's always been bad at snapping the ball. It's not as easy. You can go watch Olin Kreutz talk about. It's not as easy as what you think. You have to snap, take a step, and block someone in front of you at the same time. I'm not going to take that away being like, oh, why can't you snap it? That's so easy. No, nothing in the NFL is easy. But best believe Ryan Poles knows, and this coaching staff, which won't be here anyways, but they know that there is not a solution to center on this team right now. So whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency, there will be a new person snapping the ball. And yeah, we're probably seeing the last of Cody Whitehair on this team. Dave, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Cody Whitehair. So first of all, he's drafted in 2016, second round pick. He's 31 years old right now, and yeah. I mean, you look at Jason Kelce, first of all, Hall of Famer, and I hate to bring that up. So, I mean, he's been doing it. He hasn't missed a game since 2014, something like that. But that does seem like a pretty quick drop off, which sucks. But I want to go through some of the stats. So he's played 87 snaps at center this year. His worst offensive or worst PFF grade blocking wise, offensive line play was against the Vikings, where he had 45 snaps at center, 37.3
Jesus Christ.
Grade, which is very, very bad.
God awful.
It's his worst grade of the season. His third worst graded game of the season by PFF was again where he played center, 42 snaps against Washington. Because he wasn't great then either. 51.7 overall grade. He has his highest grade on the season is a 59.8. Which is kind of it's like a yellow tier for PFF. So it's like almost 60. So getting close there, but it's like he's just not been good. And the decline it's came very rapidly. And it's like,
well, we saw last year.
The biggest thing with him
great
is like his snaps are terrible. And I tweeted out, which I didn't know. It was the Odell Beckham. That's how I felt like Fields was back there. And I guess someone had tweeted it like a couple weeks back, whatever. And I thought I was clever, whatever. But anyways, seriously, Justin Fields, Tyson Bagent, whether it's low, whether it's high, like they're having to really make up for such poor snaps. And like, at some points you're almost, what are you saying?
No, say Olin made a good point about this. I can't remember if it was on 670, but he was like, the problem, what it does is when there's a bad snap, it takes your eyes off the reads you're supposed to be looking at. So now, your timing is off in essence because you're worried about the ball and where it's going to be. You see what I'm saying? Instead, if you feel trust that it's going right here, your eyes are exactly where you need to go. When the ball comes to you and it's not here, you have to look to see where it goes, right? So your eyes come off of your reads, then you have to find your reads again. And we know that on offense, it's all about timing, right? That's why they practice all these snaps, same type of routes, things like that. Timing is key. So when you have to take your eyes away from the ball, that's going to throw everything off, right? Whether it's running the ball, just handing the ball off, we've seen that, or getting the ball to your first read that could have been open, but now it's not because you were late to look at it. So yeah, they're going to have to work out something. And I promise you there'll be a new starting center on this team next year. And if not, y'all can tear me to shreds because I'll be tearing Ryan Poles to shreds because that makes no sense.
And I want to bring up, like, first of all, what Ryan Poles said earlier in the year was like, they asked him about the roster and what they did to kind of fill the holes, and where was this roster at, like, percentage wise, as far as being completely overhauled and not having any more, weaknesses or just holes in the roster. And he was like, I think he mentioned, I'm kind of can't remember exactly, but it was about 80%, so about 20% was still left. And center obviously is very, very high on that list. So it's like, might even be more because that was when Chase Claypool, that was when the receiving room we thought was so strong. So it could even be at 30%. And they did a lot to kind of improve this team, even though it's not looking like it right now. But it's like, there are some young, talented players that you can kind of hopefully build around and perhaps keep Jalen Johnson and some of these vets. And we didn't even talk about Eddie Jackson today. And he might be on his way out playing for another team just based on everything.
Jersey too.
But
man, I really am bad luck. All my jerseys are gone.
Hey, no, I mean, he had a couple, 2018. That was awesome.
No, I love Eddie. I'm just saying now it's like I might have to do a whole refresh of my closet, but yeah. We do have some Williams more. Jersey. Yeah. Jeez. Okay.
Anyways, let's finish up these questions.
Yeah. Laz, we got two more. Laz again with another question said, why not hope for Bagent to ball out? Purdy did it. Why can't Bagent be a sleeper here? Okay. 2 parts. Like Dave said, if he balls out, it has to, like, that's it. Like, you have to show you're the franchise quarterback. If that's the case, cool. Like, we'd be happy about it. We don't have to use a first pick on someone. Likelihood of that happening, probably not going to happen because of 2 reasons: where he was drafted and this organization. If they can't get Fields to be successful, they're not going to get Tyler Bagent. Okay. So
it's just so unrealistic too, because I mean, he's a rookie, not a lot of experience. There's going to be some growing pains unless you said, like I said, unless he is the guy and he can just
even with that, like, our coaching staff is not Kyle Shanahan. It's not like I give Brock Purdy for what he's doing, but he's also surrounded by the best team in the NFL. Like, talent-wise, offensive line, even his defense, right? Your defense is important to, how good you are on the offensive side as well, because you get more opportunities, shorter field. All of that's important. You take away Brock Purdy, the 49ers, roster-wise, are still the number 1 in the league. So he's in a much, much, much better situation than we could ever be in. So that's why I feel like it's to have the expectation that he's going to ball out. I just don't want you to get your hopes up, because it's probably not going to happen. And if I'm wrong, cool. I wouldn't be mad about that. It means we found our guy.
Absolutely.
Likelihood it's not going to happen. All right. Last question here. Nevin Box said, say Bagent or Justin Fields shows promise. Do we trade far enough and grab extra picks and still grab Harrison Jr. and then then the offensive tackle from Penn State, which I think is Olu, which I mentioned earlier. Yeah, we kind of touched on this. If you have your franchise quarterback, whoever it is, right, you don't have to use that first pick on a quarterback, and that first overall pick, right, if that's what we have at the end of the season, you will get a haul for Caleb Williams and Drake May. You will. Like, you got a haul last year for Bryce Young, and there's a lot of talks about his height. No one's talking about, like, oh, I wonder if Caleb Williams is the guy. There's none of that talk. He just had a shitty week, his worst game ever, and I didn't see any talks about, oh, is Caleb Williams not that guy? The hype's been here for too long. That pick is going to be worth $1 million. So if that's the case, trade that in for a haul. You still have another pick that will be, because of us, we suck, we'll be top 5. You could possibly get you could get Olu, who's a tackle. You could get Jared Verse, the number 1 DN from Florida State. Marvin Harrison Jr. is expected to go top 5. So you're going to have the best. You're going to be able to get the best player in like 4 or 5 different positions. It's just whether, what way Ryan Poles goes. So yes, if you have your franchise guy, you better trade that. Just like how they thought they had their franchise guy this year and traded and got DJ Moore. You thought DJ Moore was a good trade, buddy. Next year you would get something crazy. I promise you.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. It's a win-win for us, or at least for Bears fans right now. It's like if Justin or Tyson really just have to, first of all, to prove they're the guy, they're going to have to ball out consistently and show, vast improvement, rapid improvement. But that would be the best case scenario. We talked about it, being able to trade that pick. You mentioned again getting a crazy package in return, likely higher than what they got last year. However, that likelihood probably low 10% right now as far as possibility. But again, as Bears fans, you could end up Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. You can end up with Caleb Williams and a tackle, edge rusher. You can do these things, or you could get Caleb Williams, trade the second one.
Yeah.
If you say they end up with 1 and 2, you trade number 2 back to number 4.
Because someone's going to want Drake May.
You recoup more capital. You somehow maybe get Marvin Harrison Jr. or a tackle or a rusher. And it's like the Ryan Poles has set the Bears up, looking good. They're looking good right now. And it sucks because it's like he had an idea where it's like, okay, first of all, choosing, the Panthers, because he had multiple trade partners to work with.
He nailed that.
And it's like, you looked at the Carolina roster. You looked at, okay, are they going Bryce Young? Okay, rookie quarterback, and they thought ahead, and now look where they are at. And if the worst case scenario happened where Fields doesn't prove to be the guy and it's a complete shit show with the coaching staff, which all that is coming to fruition. All right,
yes.
A year from now, me and you could be talking about a whole different team, whole different coaching staff, and hopefully trending upward. So it's like either scenario here, whether it's Fields, whether it's, another young quarterback and another stud, because you're getting 2 great, maybe franchise altering players with those picks, or at least you're hoping they are. And then you're set up again for hopefully long-term success, but you got to nail the coaching. Like you have to get it right. No. Otherwise we're going to fail another young quarterback. And I don't think I can fucking take that. I don't know if I can, man. Like, I'm not saying I'm switching teams, but I might be watching different fucking sports for a little bit because, like,
I feel that.
I said Fields, if we failed him, it would really, I don't know if I could recover. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I think I can because of how they set us up, in 2024. Yeah. So.
No, you made a great point, and we can end on this. Like the best case scenario, I talked about Fields being the guy, and then you can trade Hall, whatever. But that's the best case scenario. So that's 100% what I want. Likelihood of that happening is like 10%. What's like 80% going to happen is that Fields he's not going to be the guy, but we're probably going to take whoever they scout as the best quarterback, right? Number 1. With our first pick, wherever that's at. And I bet we trade the second one back and we recoup. So,
yeah.
Okay. Ethan, who was actually at the game. It's funny because I was talking to him on Instagram because he does follow us. So he messaged me. He was going to be at the game. He said, what do you think the odds are that the Bears completely whiff the head coach again? You know what? Statistically, and we'll end on this one. Statistically, they have shown us that I can't have faith that they'll nail it. The last time they nailed a quarterback right, I was in middle school with Lovie Smith. That's the last time I was like, wow, they got the head coach right. Everything since then has been losing. Actually, Nagy is the only one since Lovie Smith that actually has won games. And imagine how we feel about Nagy. That means John Fox, dog shit with us, right? Obviously, Tressman, dog shit. And then Flus right now, dog shit. So back to back, like it has not been good.
I mean, Nagy was coach of the year, which is hilarious. I mean, but that was probably Vic's
GM of the year.
That's probably Vic Fangio's reward. But
to be fair.
Anyways, I think this, as far as coaching, I think it's 50-50. Like it's a coin flip. Like first of all, you can't go with a first year head coach again. Like I like Ben Johnson, the OC over in Detroit. I like him a lot. That would be okay for me. Like I would be confident. I understand he's never coached in the NFL as far as like head coach, but I like he looks legit with Jared Goff and those weapons and that offensive, that franchise or the Lions are just, they're stacked. Like obviously they were division favorites. I think they're the real deal finally. They're kind of fun to root for, which is odd. Like I know some people just hate the Lions. I get it, but it's like, they're kind of a fun ass team. And
They're
it's
fun to watch.
maybe
And
it's the
about
Bears.
time.
Like they're just taking all this out of me. I'm like, it's fun football. Like I don't care who's playing, outside of the Packers.
I
have
have a theory on that. I
Okay.
think why a lot of Bears fans I've noticed are like kind of pro Lions, right? I think the reason why is because we see Lions fans and see ourselves. You've been fans of it, or Lions might even be worse, right? You see an organization that hasn't won a playoff game since like 1999, right? They have the curses of not paying Megatron and then Barry Sanders retiring early. You know what I mean? Like they've had a history that's just been bad to them as a fan base, but they've been loyal. So I think when we finally see them get success, we in a way feel like we are winning. You know what I mean? Because we're like, oh, we get that. We go through those same pains. And there's a little bit of hope, a little bit, that you're like, oh, you know what? If the Lions can do it, maybe we can too. So
Ethan goes the Bears or the Lions with more money on Ethan on YouTube. That's a funny comment, man. That's hilarious.
Jeez, bro. Better stadium though. God, that stadium sucks.
Yeah.
Arlington Heights. Sorry, I'm just
Eric, another question here on YouTube was, would you guys hire Eric Bieniemy?
Bieniemy.
Bieniemy.
It's like B-enemy. Yeah.
Bieniemy for Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him. Interesting. That wouldn't be my first pick. I'll be honest. It just wouldn't. But for me, it's like I like Harbaugh. I really like that pick. I like that.
I'm opposite.
I know. And he's defensive, right? Is he a defensive?
Yeah, he is.
Kind of. So that actually
defensive.
Sucks a little bit. I just like the pedigree he would bring. Bill Belichick, I've heard I don't know how that rumor started, but I don't think I would want him. I don't think he would want to be in Chicago.
No. What? No.
Maybe a chance to turn around. I don't know.
No.
Lincoln Riley.
That man's gonna retire. No, I don't want Lincoln either.
Okay.
I don't want Lincoln Riley. I don't know. This
is another episode.
Yeah, it is for sure. And this is my last comment. I promise I'll shut up.
No, you're good.
Bieniemy I'd be cool with. Yeah, Bieniemy I'd be cool with. Brian Johnson, first time. If you're gonna do a first time, at least it's like an offense. That's Ben Johnson. When I said Brian. I was thinking Brian. I was thinking Brian Dable. I don't know why.
You're making up names.
But Ben Johnson. I am at this point. I've been talking too much. So yeah, Ben Johnson, I'd be okay with. Like, it's not my first choice. I do love his offense, so I would be excited about that. Okay. Coaches that go straight from college to NFL first time, I'm kind of iffy about. We haven't really seen that success work out. Think of people like Matt Rule, that didn't work out. Cliff Kingsbury, that didn't work out. Like recently, that's not the move. Harbaugh, pedigree, absolutely. But the two biggest things is that man's about to be 60, and I promise you he's not leaving Michigan. There's no reason that he would want to leave Michigan. I wouldn't want to leave Michigan. You've done nothing but win there. I know you haven't won the national championship, but they're going to build a statue of you. Why? There's no way. I don't think we could pay him enough for him to come here. So I think that's more of a pipe dream. But yeah, we'll see. The sad thing is, Dave, the worst part about all
Brian
of this,
Brian
Johnson.
He's the Eagles coordinator.
Thank you. I knew it.
And I said you were making stuff up.
The worst thing is that we have to talk about this, and it's week 7, about to be 7 after this Monday night game. It's week 7. We just had a mini bye. What did that do?
That's true.
Jesus,
no, I'm talking about we'll record on we'll be here in the bye week. We got to provide some type of fun.
No, but I'm saying it's like, maybe I don't even know if I'm like happy about
maybe that's when we'll do our maybe we'll try to get maybe we'll do our coaching, depending how the season go. We can do some coaching and scouting reports stuff.
Yeah, let's see if we can bring someone in. Yeah, let's see if we can bring someone in who knows.
We'll get Caleb Williams on. Let's see if he wants to come to the Bears.
Yes, please. Jeez, I wouldn't. God, he might be going back to college after watching this fucking organization. But yeah, there is hope though, like you said. So, and on a positive note, there is hope. Ryan Poles, that's why I think he's going to be here, is because that man has done more to help us out in the future and give us flexibility. So when things don't work out, everything doesn't it's a dumpster fire, but the dumpster fire can be put out. You can shut the lid on the dumpster and open it again and then, restart. It may not be the best analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Before we had dumpster fires, we were fucked with cap money. no draft picks, no first rounds. So then it's like, bro, even if you want to rebuild, like you're already 2 years behind just because you have to recoup and get rid of bad contracts and draft picks. And we are the complete opposite this year. So
exactly.
So we're here. This is what we got.
And like Caleb Williams, say he comes into Chicago and he's coming into a scenario that is probably the best case for any Bears quarterback in a while. Justin came in. They didn't have a first-round pick because they had to give that up to get him. They were still in cap hell. Matt Nagy was almost out the door. So there's just a lot of turmoil and, question marks and issues with the roster building and the cap. So now you get a rookie quarterback, Drake May, Caleb Williams. They have not a perfect scenario, but damn near
much better.
It's going to be pretty good. Better than a lot of better than CJ Stroud, better than Bryce Young, better than a lot of rookie quarterbacks typically get. And you might have DJ Moore. You might, you might have Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, you're going to have just a lot of guys darn all right. The line's going to probably be better. Komet locked up. Backs. The defense is going to get better just with the youthfulness. You're set. Like if you could really turn it around pretty quick. And I always say that a lot, and the Bears could, fuck it up somehow. But for me, it's like it is looking better. Just about a year and a half, maybe 2 years away.
What have you done for me recently? Right, the NFL is quick. Like it doesn't mean it's automatic, but we see it all the time where teams, good organizations, can turn around a team very quickly, and normally that starts with a good quarterback, your franchise quarterback, right? You look at the trajectory of the Houston right now, Texans. It's a lot better because CJ Stroud is balling out. Even when they got Deshaun Watson, right? And they had pieces in there like Watt already, and then DeAndre Hopkins, right? That's what we're hoping to do. You know what I mean? Now, they didn't win a Super Bowl or anything like that, but the point is like you're allowing yourself the opportunity for your first year quarterback, whomever it may be, to actually be successful and build good habits, and not what we did to Fields and Mitch Trubisky, right? Even though they have their flaws, but not put him in a situation that develops low confidence. I can't say low confidence because I don't know these players, but what it may seem low confidence, bad habits, things like that. So just overall building a better culture for you to drop someone in so that they can be successful, like what they've done with San Francisco, right? Obviously, that's like the perfect scenario, and we're just trying to get a better scenario than what we've had for most of our first year quarterbacks. Yeah, spot on. Ethan said the key is good organizations. We don't do that here. Perfect one to end on, because you're right. We are definitely not an organization. Not even close.
Not perfect.
History says different. Since the 80s, we have been dog shit. So no good. No,
absolutely. I think we can wrap it up there, right, Fick? I think it's been a good episode. Yeah. Somehow talked for a decent amount about this team. We continue to do it. We love it
this every time.
No matter what. We love the Bears. If you're watching this, you like the Chicago Bears. We want them to be better. Hopefully that's soon. Again, keep saying it. Enjoy the pod. You're enjoying the content, live streams. Go ahead and stick around. Hit that like button. Sub to the channel. Hit the notification bell. If you're on Apple, Spotify, shout out to you. Love it. Rate the pod. Keep listening that way. We just appreciate everyone that tunes in. And hopefully this team will get better. We can't guarantee it, but we'll still be here every week. Like we've been saying, we will be here no matter what. That's the one thing we can guarantee. We don't know if they're going to get these draft picks right. We don't know if Justin Fields is going to come back this year or what the hell is going to happen with this team. But we will be here. We appreciate y'all. You can follow Ficky on Twitter, all socials. It's Ficky Baby. Follow me, Dave_BFR on all socials as well. Check out all my work, articles weekly, sportsmockery.com. BFR podcast is presented by Sports Mockery. Shout out to them. They're amazing. Love partnering with them. And then, of course, follow the pod, BFR_pod on Twitter, Instagram. And again, we love you guys. Appreciate everyone that tunes in. Ficky, anything before we go, man?
Man, nah, I've already gave all my piece, man. Just hopefully these draft picks stay great. That's it. We need hope. We need hope as Bears fans, and that's my one hope right now is that those draft picks are right where we need them. So,
absolutely. All right, guys. Well, hey, we'll be back Wednesday, more than likely. Ficky's traveling, so are you going to the game again?
No, I can't do back like that. My heart.
I was going to say, I was like, good God.
No, not yet.
Built different. Anyways, he'll be traveling, so we're gonna get an episode out a little bit earlier. We'll be Wednesday. We'll be out Wednesday evening. We'll have a good guest on, more than likely. We'll talk. We'll preview the is it Bears Raiders? I should know this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't, because it's not even starters. It's a backup versus backup. So
that's true. That's true. David Carr, or I'm sorry, Jimmy G's out.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's gonna be a hell of a game. Is that prime time? I hope it is.
No. Thank
Anyways, no, yeah. All of America having to watch that shit. Anyways, we appreciate it. We'll be back, and hopefully have some, I don't even know what I'm hoping for anymore, but we'll see you then Wednesday. It'll be fun.
Peace.